Michael Murphy's DVD here called What in the World Are They Spraying? And believe it or not, it is committed by the Department of Defense. Okay, so if we can have that DVD come up, take a look at this, bring the family over and watch this on your screen, because you need to know what is going on.
A strange substance found by a southwest Arkansas man be part of a government test? Well, that's the question at the heart of a phenomenon called chemtrails, now getting widespread attention.
Well, they say the government is dumping chemicals on us to control or manipulate the weather.
And they say the unusual-looking jet trails in the sky are actually chemical-laden chemtrails.
People say the government is up there in airplanes spraying all kinds of chemicals to change or manipulate the weather, leaving what you see there, and they call that a chemtrail. So what I look at there and I think are contrails, you're telling me are chemtrails?
Yes, that a contrail would be dissipated by now.
And it's interesting, Dale and Christina, this is of interest not just in this country, but European countries and frankly all over the world. A lot of folks interested in it.
Well, Dave, you mentioned that climatologists and others who study the atmosphere believe that they'd be able to surely spot any kind of signs of an ominous plot.
Our journey started in San Diego, California, where thousands of scientists, engineers, policymakers, and journalists gathered for the American Association for the Advancement of Science Conference. One of the topics was the artificial manipulation of the Earth's climate, also called geoengineering. During the meeting, scientists spoke about the plausibility of implementing geoengineering campaigns throughout the world under the guise of preventing global warming. One widely accepted theory was to block the sun by spraying something into the atmosphere. When they were asked about existing aerosol programs, they stated clearly that no such programs have ever been implemented. But strangely, these proposals sounded exactly like what people around the world are claiming is already happening.
When I found out that the American Association for the Advancement of Science was going to be held down here and the main body of topics would be on geoengineering, I had to come. I had to be in on this. I had to hear what these top climate change scientists had to say.
And that's the other question about chemtrails and whether geoengineering is being deployed right now without our knowledge. I don't have any personal insight into that, other than to say that I've worked in government at pretty high levels in the White House and at state government. I'm personally skeptical of that. But obviously you never know what you don't know.
Chemtrails. On the internet, they are cited as proof of the government creating clouds to combat global warming.
They claim the American government, with the secret approval of the national government, is covertly using jet aircraft to spray population centres with aluminium, with barium, and with strontium so as to reduce people's immunity and reduce the global population.
I'm always a little bit suspicious because the government doesn't seem that capable to do something on such a large scale.
That is not rain, that is not snow. Believe it or not, military aircraft flying through the region is dropping chaff. Small bits of aluminum, sometimes it's made of plastic or even talicized paper products, but it's used as an anti-radar issue, and obviously they're up there practicing. Now, they won't confirm that, but I was in the Marine Corps for many years, and I'll tell you right now, that's what it is.
And what happens here, military jets, some come out of Key West Air Force Base, and they move off into the atmosphere, and they drop mylar strips. Some could be a little wider, some are small glass fibers that are coated in aluminum. And what the Air Force does is they take their military jets and they dump these out of the aircraft, they fall into the atmosphere, and some take as much to a day to fall down.
This is inevitably military or something going on. The government, the Air Force, you see this kind of a pattern like this, you can rest assured there's something going on. They're actually little bitty magnetic and little bitty strips of, whether it's aluminum.
So it's a nuisance to you and I to determine what's real and what's not, but it looks like it is a life-saving operation there for the military.
The apparent motive behind this conspiracy theory is one world government.
Order, I cannot hear.
Mr. Speaker, I want to assure the House that both my ministry and my colleague, the Minister of Health, who have received correspondence on this issue, that this conspiracy theory does not have an iota of truth, and that the trails observed from aircraft simply come from jet engines.
Number 9 of order.
And I think what an appalling example it is of the new Foreign Affairs spokesperson for the Labour Party that she's spreading conspiracy theories about the United States government.
I think the House has heard sufficient.
It is called...
Aloha. That right there is something that you need to go check out for yourself. All right, we just gave you about maybe 5 minutes to introduce you to the subject matter and to also let you know how imperative this is. Your awareness is badly needed at this time. We do have our special guest on the line right now, and I believe that you've got him in the studio. Aloha, Michael, is that you?
Aloha, it is. Calling from LA, missing Hawaii.
Well, we're so happy to have you on the show this evening, and we're very lucky too to have your mana'o, your thoughts that you're sharing with us, as you are an expert on this subject matter. I'm sitting here with Jeremiah Naone. He's on the Human Rights Task Force that's been here on Maui, and they're taking human rights complaints and reporting every month to the United Nations treaty bodies to help nations uphold their obligations, to human rights, such as the human right to not be subject to experimentation. So it's very important that you do talk to us about this, for our audience's benefit and for ourselves. Explain a little bit about what chemtrails are, because we do see them in the skies here.
Right. Many people call chemtrails, but the scientific name is actually stratospheric aerosol geoengineering. And geoengineering is defined as the modification of the Earth's climate system. So it includes weather modification and other types of experimentation. But I can bring you back to the annual Association for the Advancement of Science meeting, which was held in San Diego back in February. And essentially what geoengineers had proposed was spraying 10 to 20 million tons of toxic aluminum into the sky for the stated goal of cooling the planet. Many people, however, have been witnessing these long trails which have been emitted from airplanes, exactly what geoengineers have stated they want to do, and also tests have revealed tests from around the world, massive contamination from aluminum. So geoengineers' plans match also numerous patents for aerosol spraying devices to be fitted onto airplanes. So their plans match the patents and they match the contamination that's being found around the world. However, they deny that these programs have been started. We can talk about some of the health implications of the aluminum oxide, and then also the ecological implications, all of which we've seen a great increase since the inception of these programs.
Michael, my name is Jeremiah. I have a question.
Yes.
Do you know what legislators are involved in this chemtrails?
Well, yes, there have been numerous congressional hearings on this issue. However, I'm going to restate that geoengineers, including the Congress people that we spoke to on the film, blatantly deny that these programs have been started. They're stating that they urgently want to do this, and they urgently want to establish global governance to governing these activities. But again, these are illegal programs. They have not been, there has been no legislation passed yet. So they are lying to us and saying that they haven't been started. However, there's a mountain of evidence everywhere But to answer your question, it's not only one entity. Again, these are worldwide programs. They're reported in almost every country around the world. So again, to answer your question, there are numerous corporations and then numerous governments that have involvement within these programs.
I have another question, and that question is why are they doing this? I mean, do you know? Can you boil it down to a? They're not trying to destroy the human race, are they?
Well, let's talk about some of the reasons why they could be doing it. And again, they're denying that they're doing it, but many people believe that, including myself, that this is in part 3 different agendas, and one of which you had mentioned, are they trying to destroy the human race? And if many people are aware of eugenics programs, there have been numerous eugenics programs throughout history that have been racial specific. This time, it appears because of the toxicity of aluminum, barium, and strontium. Aluminum is very toxic to human life, and in about the past 12 to 15 years, we've seen an incredible increase in aluminum-related illnesses, Alzheimer's being one of them, which has increased by over 200% in a 10-year period in LA County. Barium lowers our immune system.
We're talking about that.
And so we've seen a great increase in all kinds of illnesses, and it also increases blood pressure. And during heavy spray days, we've spoken to a number of emergency room physicians who are aware of these programs, and they know during heavy spray days that their emergency rooms will be packed with people with heart attacks, strokes, and then sometimes lesser symptoms, which are burning eyes, irritability, etc., etc. Strontium, which is also being found in massive amounts, is a carcinogen, and of course we've seen a great increase in cancers, and these heavy metals are accumulative in the body, so they will attack the immune system. With that being said, if you look at source data from the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, and even Bill Gates, who, by the way, is a heavy funder into geoengineering programs, they all have been supporting eugenics programs and their families throughout history. So we do believe that it is, in part, a population reduction measure. It certainly seems like it. But another theory is that this is, in part, part of the HARP program. Many people believe that the HARP program requires metal particulate to be in the sky to emit its frequency. And the HARP program has a number of applications, one of which is weather modification. And it does have the ability to use the metal particulate, which is in the sky, and it can heat it up. And what that does, it can alter jet streams, modifying where the weather goes. And of course, barium, which is being found, is also a desiccant. So they do have technology to control the weather. And I can bring you also back to a government report, which is called Owning the Weather by 2025. And that's an expressed interest of our military. And many people say, why would they want to control the weather? Well, there are military applications that can be used for that. Of course, we've seen a great increase in terrible weather and in just drastic weather in about the past 12 to 15 years. The HARP program also has earthquake capability, so they can produce what appears to be a god or a natural earthquake, but it is technology that can be deployed. And again, oftentimes after these big earthquakes, like in Haiti, we saw a military occupation by the U.S. government, all in the name of bringing aid to Haiti, but looks like there are some more ominous ideas behind that.